This is Kathleen Kinmont, Kelly Meeker from Halloween 4, and you're listening to the Don't Go Out There horror movie podcast. Cops do it by the book.
Was the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, welcome to the Don't Go Out There horror movie podcast.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to a bonus edition of the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Review podcast. Me and my fellow comrades, we discussed and said, why don't we rank our favorite Halloween movies in the franchise? Not the best, our favorite.
I'm glad you said that. I am very glad you said that.
Because I'm sure we're all going to have a few sketchy movie rankings on each other's list compared to each other's, but that's what makes this debate or discussion fun. Who wants to go first?
Hey, I'll go first.
Okay, my man B Half wants to go first.
All right, let's do it.
Do you want to
Happy
start?
Halloween.
Do you guys want to start from our worst to best, or best to worst?
Let's start with worst.
Definitely
Oh,
worst. Definitely
okay.
worst.
Go ahead.
So there's 11, right? There's 11 movies in the entire franchise. I get a little sketchy and a little iffy with that because a couple of them don't even exist to me. So I was like, oh, what are these movies? I forgot. But see, I've got 12 just to go ahead and start off being controversial because I've got the very beginning of Halloween Resurrection ranked higher than the very end of Resurrection, which to me is obviously a franchise killer. And
Right,
so
right.
number 12 is
Oh,
the end of Resurrection.
Oh, I'm gonna get shit on. Go ahead.
So go ahead and do your number 11 after that,
Yeah,
then.
that's what I was
So
about to
we're all
say.
caught
And
up.
number 11
I
got to
agree.
be, to me, Halloween 3. And honestly, is because it's not, doesn't even have Michael Myers in it. I mean, you can like it for a B cheesy, campy horror movie all you want to, and it's got a little bit of a cult following, like Matt Sears out there. But I
Like
just
me. Woohoo.
but it doesn't have Myers in it. To me, it's 11.
I guess I'll go second, let the host go last here. Okay. So, my number 11 Halloween film is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. This movie sucks. It's down there with Freddy's Dead as far as being one of the worst in the three main slashers. It's probably my least favorite, even over Freddy's Dead. It ruined the franchise, or almost. There's some later movies that helped it out, but this movie stinks. The main character, Jamie Lloyd, who, by the way, I'll get to Halloween 4 in a little bit, but they completely ruined her character. They made her a deaf mute for most of the movie, the first two acts. That makes literally zero sense. They retconned the end of Halloween 4, which I'll get to. Stupid. And then the mask is awful. The portrayal of Michael is awful. This movie did one thing right, and that's get the fall atmosphere. So when that's all you got, I can't work with you. So I'm going to go Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Okay.
Golly.
All right,
I'm here to shit on that.
My my number 11 on the list is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. I've never even seen it. Have no desire to watch it. It doesn't have Michael Myers in it. Maybe that's not fair to judge it like that, but whenever I think of the Halloween franchise, I think of Michael Myers. I don't think of us. I know I know John Carpenter wanted to do some, off. I think he wanted to do a trilogy of three totally different movies or whatever. But yeah, Season of the Witch is number 11 for me. Brian,
Yeah,
what's
he
your
wanted.
number 10?
Yeah, he wanted to do anthology, I think, and he
Ahead
didn't
of
even.
its time.
He didn't even want. He didn't even want Michael Myers in the second one. He didn't want to
No.
continue with it at all. So, yeah. So John Carpenter's kind of to blame for that one. But my number 10 is Halloween 2 from 2008. Halloween 10 or 2. I've only seen this movie twice, and I think one all the way through, and probably you can count it as a whole movie as many times as I've watched the Daniel Harris scene of Halloween of that movie. But it's terrible. It was very disappointing, especially after Halloween. The first one was Rob Zombie's remake was so. So I got it at 10.
Number 10, Halloween Resurrection. Now, I'll give this movie a little bit of credit for trying to do something different. They got away kind of. They got away from Laurie Strode, which, knock knock, I've been wanting that to happen for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they kind of retconned the end of Halloween H2O, a perfect ending in my mind. Anyway, but they got away. The whole Dangertainment thing, I give it a little credit for that. But man, I'm sorry, and I know Nico's got this movie high. Spoiler alert, not where, but Busta Rhymes in this movie sucks. Okay, and trick or treat, motherfucker. Happy Halloween. Like, come on, man. And his story arc is the main story arc, and it's almost like he's the director of the movie, and he put himself in this role, man. It's just not for me. The Mask is actually okay, by the way, compared to H2O at least. And the portrayal of Michael Myers is good, but it's a big wet fart for me, so Halloween Resurrection is my number 10.
I'm copying Bryan again. Number 10 for me is Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's sequel. Man, that movie sucks, man. I hate it. Rob Zombie took the white trashiness, the excessive brutality, and it went times 5 in this movie, in my opinion. And it just doesn't work for me at all. It just, and Sherry Moon Zombie she commits suicide in the first movie he does, but now she's back with some white horse bullshit reference. Just another reason. It's just a reason to put her in the movie.
Oh, God.
And then at the very end, Michael Myers talks at the end. I don't like that.
That's the director's cut.
And then he says, die. It's like,
yeah,
die.
How many times have y'all seen this movie? I mean, I don't even remember any of that. I couldn't have suffered through it.
I don't know why. I painfully watched through it a couple times for some reason. And we'll move on to our next movie. But my last thing to write, don't like this movie is Laurie and Dr. Loomis suck in this movie, and they were like two of the best characters in the first one. So they're horrible. So yeah, Bryan, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is the Rob Zombie Halloween 2007. A lot of this to me just because has to do with timelines. Like I said, I dislike the end of Resurrection, and I called it a franchise killer, but I really mean a timeline killer, because that's what they did after that, is kind of remake it. But Halloween 2 with Rob Zombies, to me, I don't even own anymore, because I don't even have them in my head canon anymore. And so there's no way I could have put it, besides Halloween 3, which isn't even the Michael Myers timeline. I couldn't put any of the original timeline movies below that one. So Halloween 2007 for me, even though it had a lot of good things about it, honestly. I really loved The Mask.
That's great.
And I really love how just basically Jason-esque Michael Myers is, how big and just, how tough and brutal Michael Myers is. But like I said, that's my number 9.
Mike.
Okay. This was hard for me because it's clear down here towards the lower end, I'm not a fan of some of these movies. But I'm gonna go Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. for one, I hate the Thorn trilogy pretty much outside of part 4, which I really like. I thought that the Man in Black storyline does nothing for me. Okay, so positives, the mask in this movie is much better. The portrayal of Michael is good. He's brutal. I'll give him that. I think Jamie Lloyd, first of all, you didn't get Danielle Harris because you didn't want to pay her what she was worth. And then you killed off Jamie Lloyd in a shitty scene with like no matter which copy you watch, whether it's the theatrical cut or director's cut, she deserved a better death, a much more important role in the film. And then I'm just not a fan of Paul Rudd in this movie. I love Paul Rudd in comedies and Ant-Man and all that, but he sucks here, man. He's not good as Tommy Doyle.
Oh, man.
I know. We're going to have some disagreements. And that's okay. That's what this is for. I'm just not a fan of the movie, man. It has some good things. It had a lot of potential, and I think that's why it's so low for me, because it should have been better, in my opinion. There's a super cut out there that somebody made where they put the theatrical cut with the director's cut. A lot of people like that movie a lot. I've never seen it, so I wouldn't know, but it ranks 9 for me right now.
And number 9 for me is...
Hey, Nico, really quick, Nico. This is all... Halloween 6 is also the last time you get to see Loomis, and he's really good in this movie. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, man, because number 9 for me is Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. And I agree with everything you just said, Mike. Michael looks cool. He looks brutal. I don't like Paul Rudd in this movie either. And I hate that little, that cult stuff, the plot twist or other plot or whatever. I just don't like this movie. I think I've watched it maybe twice, and it don't do much for me. It's not one I rewatch very often. Go ahead, Bryan, with number 8.
Man, maybe I need to evaluate why I like Halloween 6.
No, that's okay. Whatever you like, brother. It's all good.
Yeah, this is all personal.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like defensive. I'm like, man, I don't really have a lot of defensive. I don't really know why I like it that much. But let's see. We're on 8. I went with Halloween 5 on this one. Mostly a lot of the reasons Mike said, man, and it's really disappointing in a lot of aspects. Really, the only thing going for it that it does have is the continuation of Jamie, and the mask isn't as bad as it was in 4. So yeah, 8. Halloween 5 is my number 8 for most of the same reasons Mike listed.
Okay. So my number 8 is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I don't hate this movie necessarily, and the only reason it's really low is because it's a little campy for me. It's not scary, at least. I like that they went for something different. I like the Silver Shamrock mask. I like the Halloween. Okay, I like all that. I think you could have tied this movie into Michael Myers somehow. Maybe some Easter eggs, some clues to kind of bring it back around and kind of worked it into the Michael Myers universe per se.
Well, I think sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I think weren't they watching the original Halloween
yes, they were.
That movie? So doesn't that maybe sometime like kind of put it almost Wes Craven's New Nightmare type?
Yes, it does.
Out of the okay. All right,
yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry.
And I mean, that's a good point. They're watching the original Halloween. So Halloween Season of the Witch. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. If this movie didn't have Halloween in the title and it was just called Season of the Witch, I would like it a lot more. I really would. It'd be campy, it'd be kind of hokey, but I get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. But because there's no Michael Myers, it's low for me. Everyone listening right now is like, why the heck hasn't he said Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie? Just hold on.
Oh my Lord! I didn't. Oh yeah. You haven't said that. Wow. I'm agreeing with Mike on my number 8. Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. I really don't hate this movie that much, but because it has one of those scenes that I always remember. The barn scene. I don't know why that scene always just sticks in my mind it just sticks in my mind. I never forget. Maybe that girl's just attractive to me. I don't know, but to me, when I watch these slasher movies, it's like I watch them. It's kind of hard to explain. Like some of them, like the original is really, really good, But this one to me is just kind of entertaining and it's an easy watch to me. So, but it's still not great. But it's number 8 for me.
Hey, Nico,
Go
can I
ahead.
add one more thing to Halloween 5?
Go ahead, brother.
I mentioned it on Twitter this morning. It has the worst character in slasher movie history. Tina, you suck. You suck so bad. You're worse than freaking what's his name from Friday in 09, the remake. Much, much worse. She's. I mean, they killed off one of the coolest characters to keep one of the worst. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, guys.
Go ahead, Bryan, with number 7.
Number 7, actually, Halloween Resurrection for me is number 7, all the way up until the end, which is just destroys my heart. But I mean, honestly, this movie, for as much as it gets shit on to me, and I haven't seen it in a long time, so this is going from memory, but I remember they had the same formula over and over and over again. It was very obvious after 5 that they were kind of struggling to find something new to do after 6. I mean, and you know, I'm kind of glad they tried to update it with the. I mean, it's a really cool idea to have webcams going through. It's a modern, new idea to have webcams going through the Myers house and then having them getting picked off. It's got Katie Sackhoff in it, which I love. It's got Kevin Myers from American Pie in it. I don't even know his real name.
It does.
But for as much as it's got going for it, it was kind of ballsy to. I think they had Jamie Lee Curtis still under contract, and that's the whole reason she, like I said, I think requested to be killed off in the first few minutes of it. To me, it's not that bad, and in my whole entire franchise in my headcanon, with 2018 coming in and me refusing to say that the others don't exist, I think that this is the one I put off. And to me, like H2O kind of ends the series if I'm capping it off, and the very end of H2O kind of ends the series for me, and everything new comes before that, if that makes sense. So anyway, long story long, 7, Resurrection.
No, that's why Resurrection was so low for me, because it retcons a great end to the original series. If you just want to go Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, that's a great little 3-movie series. And the Cult of Thorn has its own trilogy, and that has its own trilogy. And you wanted to cap it there, I think that'd be great. But no, we had to bring back Jamie Lee Curtis just to get people to come to the movie, I guess.
Right.
My number 7, okay, before everyone flips out, is Halloween 2 from 2009, Rob Zombie. I'll give Rob Zombie a little bit of credit for going with just doing the movie he wanted to do. And look, I don't always like that. There's been some really bad Rob Zombie movies, partly because he has to cast Sherry Moon in every stinking movie that he makes. But he's done some good stuff too, but there's been a lot of bad. I like that they deal with grief and trauma, and I think they do it in a much better way than even Halloween 2018 kind of does, as far as showing the descent into becoming kind of crazy, for lack of a better word. I don't like Laurie Strode in this movie, especially the director's cut. They make her a total bitch, and they make Annie, who I love this time around, and Danielle Harris, really likable. And Sheriff Brackett, by the way, Brad Dourif deserves a freaking Oscar for his Sheriff Brackett in this movie, man. I don't care what anybody says. This movie's not very good, but his role is too good for this movie. I'm just saying. He's awesome in that Andy death scene. Again,
no.
I love that. He's awesome in that scene. I don't care, man. I love it. I'll say this. Michael, as brooding, as intimidating as he is, and we'll talk about it when I get to the first Halloween Rob Zombie movie. I don't like the mask, how weathered and torn it looks. It's not for me. I don't like that he talks. Die. It doesn't do anything for me. So that lands 09 here, but I'll give it a little bit of credit. It's not one I go back to all that much, but I still like it more than the ones I listed below it.
Number 7 for me is, all right, this my Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. It's not bad, but it's not bad. I mean, it's got some good scenes, and I like the I like the beginning where he's in the ambulance. I like that scene. I like when he throws the electrician and electrocutes him. I like that scene, sticks in my mind as well. I don't really like the Brady character too much. To me, this is just a decent sequel. The ones I like, the ones above it do the slasher film. It does it better. Go ahead, Brian, with your number 6.
That's all right.
My number 6 is the true Halloween 2. They can try to retcon it all they want to, but in my head, it's not ever going to be. I don't think that there is a Halloween 1. To me, they're just one big long movie. So, there's not a whole lot to say because we kind of gone over this one and Halloween 1 a whole bunch already by now, and it's just I like the seclusion of the hospital. One thing that I do think is stupid is it's like such an iconic scene with the eyes bleeding, but every time he shoots them both and happens to be ridiculously right on target and 2 eyes to have them bleeding like that, it takes me out of it. The scene where he where he's killing those nurses, and it's just I really enjoy that one a lot. So it's number 6 for me is Halloween 2, the true Halloween 2.
My number 6, I agree with you. It's the true Halloween 2. And just to go back to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, one thing that he actually does better, I know, shoot me now, but one thing he does better than this original Halloween 2 is if you're going to go with the brother-sister plot, at least Laurie Strode finds out, and we get to see that scene and how that plays out. In this movie, you don't get that. You just get a little bit of a passing, that Strode girl is Myers' sister, or whatever the nurse says. And he goes, "Don't you see what's happening here?" I don't do a good Loomis. But
no, you actually do very good. You do a very good Loomis.
But I like this movie. It's okay. I can watch it back to back with Halloween 1 or the original Halloween and get enjoyment out of it. It's not as good of a movie. It's not up there in my top 5 or top 3, but I enjoy it for all the reasons that you said. There's a couple scenes that I really like, a couple kills that I really like a lot, actually. The mask is good, but it doesn't wear the same as it did on Nick Castle's head. On this guy's head was a little fatter. I'm drawing a blank on the name. So it doesn't wear the same, but it's the exact same mask. It just sat under Deborah Hill's bed for a year and a half before they got to use it again. So it's a little bit and they kill off Michael Myers in a fire, which, like that was really going to happen. But for me, it's number 6.
All right, my number 6 is the 2007 Rob Zombie remake. I'm not a big fan of Rob Zombie movies. They all have the same, traits and characteristics. There's a lot of white trashiness, a lot of bad language, a lot of incestual, just nasty language. I don't like it. The dialogue he uses.
He sucks at writing dialogue.
I'm not a big fan of the super, super brutality that Michael becomes. I mean, it's not as bad as the 2009, but 2007, it's a little too much. But the positives, I like Dave Finch, the young Michael. I think he portrays a very evil, misguided kid very well. The scene where he beats the bully with a stick, awesome scene.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a great scene. When he kills his stepdad, Brute just duct tapes him, slices his throat, and just looks right down in his eyes, pure evil. I thought the ending of 2007 was a little bit too long, but it's not. It could be trimmed a little bit, but it's not too bad. But yeah, that's probably my favorite Rob Zombie movie, which is, I guess, not saying too much, but but it's solid. I rewatch it occasionally. Brian, what's number 5 for you?
Here we go. Number 5 for me is Halloween 6. I've got a little bit of a love for this because this was one of the very. I grew up watching these movies, and I'm probably going to say about the same thing with my number 1. I don't want to give that away, but I grew up watching these movies, so when this came out, I was really excited about it, and I didn't get to see it at the theater. I don't remember if I was old enough or not. I'm not 100% sure when 6 came out, but I remember renting it from Stars because that just started, and then recording it on VHS. And so that's kind of where I first watched it. Now, I like Paul Rudd in this film. Yeah, I like a lot of the film, honestly. I do acknowledge its faults. The Thorn part, is iffy. I always thought that it was kind of weird, especially the beginning. And once I started reading up about it, and actually just in the past year, I started reading up about it and figuring out what the issues were and why they cut it the way they did. And I found out there was a producer's cut out there. And so I was like, oh crap! I found it online, went and bought it, and that is the biggest load of pile of shit I have ever seen in my entire life. So if I had ever seen that movie first, I would hate this movie, and it would be, number 11 for me on this list. But don't ever watch the producer's cut of this film. But the theatrical cut of this, to me, I like, and it's got a little special place in my heart at number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first Rob Zombie Halloween film. For all the reasons that Nicoh said, there's a lot of good stuff in this movie. And I'm going to go over the negatives, but all our positives are pretty much the same. I like Tyler Maine's portrayal of Michael Myers. It's a little brutal. It's a little Jason-like, but I like a lot of scenes. I quote it all the time if I'm in the gym and I'm working out and I hit something heavy, I might go, "I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch," or something like that. I quote that a lot. I love that line. That's awesome. And
hey, real quick, Mike, that scene was actually, there was no stunts for that. They did that themselves. That's really cool about that scene. Go ahead,
that's awesome, dude. I had no idea. That's really cool. So again, I like John Forsythe as the stepdad, even though the dialogue he's given is awful. The crying shit. I'll spunk all over them flappy titties, whatever he says. It's just kind of gross. It's gross. It's his stepdaughter. It's freaking gross. But again, you got to put Sherry Moon Zombie in a movie, and if you're going to give her a nasty husband, why not cast John Forsythe? I don't know if I ever needed a motive for Michael Myers, the character.
No,
and so this movie, along with other ones, kind of, or not useless because I like the movies, but I don't need a backstory to make Michael Myers sympathetic, even though I think the portrayal of the kid Michael is really good. And I like a lot of the scenes in Smith Grove with Dr. Loomis. By the way, Dr. Loomis is much better in this Rob Zombie Halloween than Halloween 2, thank the Lord. I actually think that he's a good Dr. Loomis. He's not Donald Pleasant, so it's kind of hard to do that. But I like the movie. It's okay. The third act is just kind of almost a shot-for-shot remake of 1978. It's pretty close. And so, by the way, I don't like how weird they make Laurie Strode in this movie. Just she's fingering a bagel and okay, fine. So anyway, that's my look. We're slim pickings here, but that's my number 5.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list and I'm rethinking. I'm swapping 4 and 5 out real quick, and I'm going to get fucking roasted for it, but here we go. All right. Number 5 for me, and this is no slight to this movie because I enjoy it. I watched it 2 nights ago. Halloween 2. All right. Like my man Bryan said, I actually liked it being in the hospital. The scene, one of my favorite scenes, and it's not because there's titties in it, but the dunk in the nurse scene, that's a really, really unique kill in the boiling water. It's a unique kill.
Yes.
The face looks really, it's like, oh my God, that looks so painful. I agree with, was it Bryan who said that about the 2 shot? Jamie Curtis shoots him in the eyes.
Yeah.
It's like, but I like that movie, man. Yeah, I just hope y'all don't roast me too bad for what I switched it for.
That's okay, man. You
go
can like
ahead,
whatever
Brian,
you want.
with number 4.
Number 4 is Halloween 4, man, for me. It's up there. I struggled, honestly, with it. It could easily be in the top 3, top 2 for me. I like this movie a lot. I especially like the climax being in this house where he's coming in, picking them off one at a time. Cops Do It by the Book shirt. When I was younger, I loved that girl wearing that Cops Do It by the Book shirt. Yeah, go back and watch that. You'll know what I'm talking about. So yeah, Halloween 4. The only bad thing about that movie is the mask. That's but even with Friday movies, man, like, I have some that are my favorite looks for Jason, and then the movies aren't very good, but in the other way around. So the movie for me is good. Halloween 4.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and do my number 4 real quick. Bryan, please don't laugh at me. Number 4. You ready? Are you ready for this?
I don't know, dude.
Number
Well,
4.
you haven't even said Resurrection. It's got to be Resurrection.
Halloween Resurrection, baby.
No way. Wow.
And why?
Okay.
And let me preface this real quick. I picked Halloween Resurrection as my number 4 because I bought a DVD when I worked at my last job. It was a back-to-back DVD, and it had Resurrection and H2O on it. I was working the night shift at this job for about 3-4 months, and it was so hard to stay up from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I would watch movies all night because I literally had nothing to do. And Halloween Resurrection was just a good hour-and-a-half movie. It didn't take itself seriously. It was entertaining, and the biggest reason why I like it is it's different. It's totally different. You got Busta and Tyra doing a webisode, I guess you want to call it, and and man, they fucked up picking the wrong house guys. And I kind of thought Deckard and was kind of. I thought the kids watching it was kind of weird, but I thought Michael looked badass in this movie. He looked awesome.
Yeah,
And,
I agree with that.
It just that I use that GIF on the Twitter account a lot where he's like looking into the camera. Man, his mask looks awesome. And a scene that I really like is when Busta goes into the house dressed as Michael, and then actual Michael is following right behind him. And then he turns and was like, "Oh shit, what are you doing, man?" It's like, if they see both of us, they gonna catch on. And I like the fact that Busta's just yelling at Michael Myers, and he doesn't actually know it's Michael Myers.
I know that. I did like that scene. That's a good scene.
I understand people not liking, Busta being watching kung fu, doing kung fu on Michael Myers. And I know people don't really like his trick or treat, motherfucker, or whatever he says.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
But to me, it's different, and it's entertaining. It's easy. It's a good, easy hour-and-a-half movie to watch to me. So yeah, thanks for not roasting me too hard on that, guys. Bryan, what number are we on? 3?
Hold on, I never got to do my 4.
Oh, that's right. That's right, kid. That's right. Go ahead. Number 4.
That's my fault. Okay. My number 4 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I really like this movie, man. And by the way, I'm not going to crap all over you for Halloween Resurrection because, hey, everyone likes what they like. And you didn't think highly of 4, and I can understand why, by the way. But I like it because it really gets back to how the original Halloween is about. It's a little more gory, but not much. It's got a really cool fall atmosphere. It's a simple story. I really like the character of Jamie Lloyd, young little Danielle Harris. I think she does a great job for being so young. I love Dr. Loomis in this movie. To me, it was the last good Dr. Loomis that we got because Halloween 5, he's crazy, Mr. just off the freaking wall. She's more scared of him than Michael. Like he's a crazy guy in 5. And in 4, I think he does a really good job. The mask sucks. I'll say that the mask in Halloween 4 sucks. I don't know why it's so hard in this franchise to get the mask right, but it is. But I really like the movie, and I like the relationship. I'm drawing a blank on names, but I like the dynamics. I like the story, and for me, it's just one that the first time I ever saw it, I watched it right after Halloween 2 because I skipped Halloween 3 as far as my binging process goes, and I liked it better than 2. Like I just wow, this is kind of fun, and so that's why it's there. But I love the ending. If they could have done something really good with the ending, where you get the twist, where Jamie Lloyd is the killer all of a sudden, you could have done something with that in Halloween 5. I think a lot more people would understand why I have it so high. And you get Dr. Loomis going, no, no.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that. Okay, but that's my number 4.
Bryan, go ahead with number 3.
Why do you think that they had such an issue with getting the mask right in this? Do you think was there a copyright issue, infringement?
It's a copyright with William Shatner. That's a true story.
Oh, William Shatner.
I know,
man.
what an a-hole.
You're my boy too, William. I saw him at Pensacon. I should have brought that up, man. Okay, so we are on number 3. My number 3 is I had a different one, but I'm swapping it. Number 3 is the 2018 Halloween. I really liked it a lot. It's kind of go a little bit nerdy a little bit, but I almost thought about it as much as I did The Force Awakens of Star Wars, where it was like, hey, it was really nostalgic. It brought back a lot of good stuff. That's great, but I really want to see it go in a different direction. I'm kind of tired of Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm kind of tired of that story, or her story. I liked the fact that what you just brought up with them thinking about going with Jamie. I guess they just didn't know what to do with her in 5 after 4. But and can I just say that, like I said, in my own headcanon, she goes all the way. It goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, H2O, and then this 2008, and she is an awful parent. Like she's she's ditched Jamie.
Right.
What in H2O she has a son, Josh Hartnett. She's totally ditched him now, and she has a daughter that she's she's a terrible mother, but maybe she just went through so much psychological crap in 78 and that was the issue. But anyway, so 2018, for as much as it did right, is my number 3.
My number 3 is Halloween H2O. I really like this movie. It was splitting hairs with Halloween 2018 with me. Maybe about 5 years down the road, I might flip these two, if you ask me, just because in a lot of ways they're kind of the same movie, other than the brother-sister storyline, obviously. I'll get to that. But I think a lot of people crap on this movie for not being in Haddonfield. I think it's actually kind of nice. It's something different. It's kind of like Michael Myers walked on the set of Dawson's Creek in a way. I kind of like it. I don't know. It's kind of I guess because it's it's the first Okay, so obviously I mentioned in our first episode that I was a big wuss, but I do remember seeing this movie when I was way too young to see it. I do remember seeing it and being freaked out, but I have a little bit of a tie to it that way. The mask is awful, or excuse me, all 4 masks they use in this film are awful.
Yeah.
They use a CGI mask that can go to hell.
Woof.
Oh God. I think you can see Michael's eyes a little too much in this movie, but that's kind of a nitpick. But the scene where they finally do meet through the little window, I really like. I think that's a good scene.
That's one of the best in the series. Man.
Right.
That's
it's great. A great scene. This movie's very meta. It's very screamish. It's got some scream elements too. I know Kevin Williamson helped either write or produce it, so
he produced it. Yeah.
It's got some Scream vibes to it. I like that because I love Scream. One cool Easter egg from H2O is you get Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. She's in the original Psycho, and she drives away in the original Psycho car. That's awesome. Okay. Oh, sorry. Janet Leigh. I'm drawing a blank on names tonight, man.
Dude, there's a lot of movies. It's hard to remember all the names.
I know.
No problem.
No. So, I like the movie. Again, splitting hairs. There's some negatives. Don't get me wrong. The way they retcon this ending really pisses me off. In Resurrection, that's really why Resurrection's so low. If they didn't do it, I might have that movie higher. But they really just kind of screwed with the ending. And again, I like the character Josh Hartnett plays as the son. I think it's great. I like Jamie Lee Curtis more in this movie than the 2018 kind of, because at least in this movie you could tell she's an alcohol. She's got some problems. She's got some issues. But I like the movie. It's number 3, but again, we're splitting hairs. I'll get to 2018. Don't worry.
Well, Mike, I'm actually agreeing with you at number 3, Halloween H2O. let's get into I'll do the positives first. I feel like it has kind of some of the same vibes as the original. It's not too out there. The one scene that I really really like is the bathroom scene when he very very intense. The little girl kind of makes it weird, with the spiders comment, but very very tense scene. I liked it being on the school campus. I really like that. I thought Jamie Lee was very good at the end when she was fighting Michael. She was not bullshitting. She was
I
fighting
love
him
that.
back.
That last
She
act
was
is great.
she was better in the two sequels to me than the original, but
Right.
because she didn't act retarded, but
Well, she was 19 in that one. So
yeah,
not a seasoned actress yet.
very true. I do have some nitpicks with the movie. I thought it was kind of weird. I thought the mask was terrible, like you said. I thought the one scene where Lori's boyfriend like shoots at Michael, but it's actually Ronnie, the security guard. Like that was definitely Michael at first. So I think they were kind of just screwing with us a little bit. And the biggest problem I have with this movie is the ending, because it's revealed that Michael collapses a guy's paramedic's throat, so he can't talk. So he swaps him out, and so the paramedics take the other paramedic or whatever in the the dead people van.
Right.
I don't know what that's called.
Right.
And the thing that I don't understand is if that's not Michael, why did he keep pursuing Lori like he was Michael? That bothers me so bad at the end of this movie. He like gets out of the body bag and tries to get after her. And how is he so damn strong too? He just had his throat collapse. He gets thrown out of the van through the windshield, and then like they tumble down the hill with the van. And he gets collapsed between a van and a tree, and he's like, he's still alive acting. It's like, dude, you should be so dead right now. It's like, if you're not Michael, take your mask off in the van, But that's my biggest problem with that movie. But otherwise, it's a very good movie.
Well, that's a problem you have with Resurrection, right? Isn't that? I mean, don't they don't really reveal that until Resurrection beginning, right? I mean, or am I forgetting? Or am I thinking the end of H2O a little bit differently?
No, they reveal in Resurrection that
Right.
they swap the mask, because remember she catches him, with a noose around his ankle, and she goes to stab him or whatever, but she can't because he's going to pull his mask off.
Right.
But that's my problem. That's just my problem with that movie. Resurrection kind of just diverts away from it real quick at the beginning.
And I do like that it gets away from it, but there's some other stuff that I just don't like.
No, I understand.
All right.
Brian, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the original Halloween 1. And, if you go back and listen to episode 2 of our podcast, we really go in depth with that pretty well. And there's not a whole lot of things I can repeat. And you can easily say that this is number 1. I mean, this is one of the most iconic horror movies of all time. But we're going with favorites, and favorites, I would put it about number 2.
Right. And we're going with favorites because, I mean, really, if we were going with the best movie, I wouldn't have. I don't know if I'd have this as my number 2. It might be lower, but since it's recent, it's in my mind. I like some of the stuff they did. I got Halloween 2018 as my number 2. It probably will be lower eventually, but it's still kind of fresh. Like, I have some nitpicks, okay? The same way I kind of do with all these movies. The character of Ray can go to hell. He's so inconsequential that when he dies, no one cares. His comedy sucks in this movie. I got peanut butter on my penis. And that whole scene makes me angry. I don't really like Karen Strode in this movie. I think that Judy Greer doesn't do a great job as Karen Strode. I can ignore it because it's all part of the story, and I like Jamie Lee in this movie. A lot of people kind of didn't. I did. I thought she was a badass, take no bullshit character. I liked it a lot. I liked Allison I like the character of Allison Strode. I thought that was a great addition. If we're gonna go Strodes, I might as well do a good job with it. I think they did with her. Just some of the positives though. The mask is awesome in this movie. It's to me the best mask since the original. My opinion. I think the portrayal that James Jude Courtney gives. I know that Nick Castle's in a scene or two, but it's mostly James Jude Courtney. He's awesome as Michael Myers. He's the perfect mix of the original and Tyler Maines, like as far as the brutality.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. There's some really good kills in this movie. Some of them are even off screen, like you see him kill the woman in the kitchen. You don't see the kill, but you see the aftermath of that kill. I love it. I love the hollowed out head as a jack-o'-lantern. That's a great kill. I love the shot that it's all one long shot, when he's walking through the houses and he gets, he kills the woman in the kitchen. He grabs the knife. He's killing more people. Yeah. You get a little Halloween 3 Easter egg with the kids running around and Silver Shamrock mask. That's kind of cool. I will say some of the I find it kind of weird that they retcon the whole series only to pay homage to every movie in this movie. Yeah. There's a scene or a tip of the cap to every other Halloween movie in this one movie. I find that to be a little strange, but that's fine if they want to do that. I guess just kind of, hey, we appreciate you. We're going a different direction. But I like the storyline with the podcasters because that's very 2018. That makes a whole lot of sense. A true crime podcast. I don't like that you see Michael Myers' face in the beginning. Not a fan of that. But other than that, I'm getting nitpicky. I like the movie. I think in a couple years it might age worse for me depending on what they do with these sequels. But for me right now, it's at number 2.
Well, and I mean, how hard would it have been? There was really no reason to retcon the series at all. Just if you're going to put it in there. There's no, you could have easily, you didn't even have to get Danielle Harris. Just name their daughter Jamie. Right. You didn't even have to explain why she's back or any of that stuff.
Right. You could have just done your own movie.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason to try to retcon it and then even have the throwaway line of, oh, well, they're not brother and sister. Well, guess what? In my head, they still are.
Right.
It's just, I don't understand why they did that.
And real quick before Nico goes, we have a little bit of a disagreement. It's not that I don't like the brother-sister storyline. That's fine because it's literally canon in all the other movies, so it's not like it's some big deal to me. But what I will say is I don't know if it's 100% necessary, but it became necessary because they kept having to bring Jamie Lee Curtis and her siblings back to this movie or her children. They could have went a completely different direction and not done that. And I don't think that the franchise would have felt any different for me. I would have loved it all the same. But since they to me, like you said, in canon, yeah, they're brother and sister. But I'm interested to see what they do with it. One more quick positive and a negative. Positive, little black kid. He's hilarious when he's supposed to be. Negative, they do a little too much humor with him while, the babysitter's getting stabbed to death. He's trying to be funny. Nitpicky, but it's my number 2. Sorry, Nico. Go ahead.
No, I agree with that. All right. Number 2. And this was tough for me because number 2 is more iconic, but number 1 is more entertaining and rewatchable to me. So number 2 is the original.
Right.
1978 Halloween. And like Bryan said, we just reviewed it. We went in pretty in depth with it. I still think it holds up well, 40 plus years later. I think it's directed very well. The score is very great. Michael just comes on the scene and you remember him forever. And I really enjoy watching that movie. It was it's borderline sacrilegious putting it number 2, but
hey, you're not the only one I've seen do it, so it's okay.
It's sorry, John Carpenter. It's number 2 for me. Bryan, what's your number 1? Let's go into our number 1 draft picks.
Number 1 draft picks. So, I mean, dude, I love me some Kevin Williamson, man. I mean, I when I grew up, I watched all these movies over and over and over again. And then when I, was in the 90s, I was in high school towards the end of the 90s, and all of these, my favorite movies started coming back, and they were in the theater, and I got to go, I was old enough to go see this stuff in the theater. And I loved Scream. I loved The Faculty. I loved I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, those are some of my favorite horror movies. And Kevin Williamson wrote them all. And he was the producer in this one, which is Halloween H2O. And that's the, that's they have a lot of similarities. So there's no reason, it's obviously why I like them. You guys, we've kind of already gone through a lot of H2O. I really like the finality of the ending, and that's why in my head canon I have it, kind of at the end. Like, it is the end movie to me. And I think it would cap the series off. If you tried to watch them all chronologically, I think it would be a perfect ending to me. And I loved, like, oh man, Jamie Lee Curtis is back. And we haven't seen her in at this point 20 years.
Yeah.
And my mom went and watched the original Halloween and used to always talk about it when I was younger, about seeing it in the theater. And she went with me to see Halloween H2O in the theater, so it was kind of a little bonding moment there too. But for as little nitpicks here and there, I really loved H2O the best.
So real quick, okay. By the way, I agree with everything you said. Imagine being a original Halloween fan and you get all, oh, they're rebooting Halloween, and it's 2007, and you take your mom to the theater, and all right, Michael Myers, I get to see Michael Myers in the theater again. I saw it in '78. I can't wait. You sit down, and the first thing you see is, I'll skull fuck the shit out of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Holy smokes. But no, sorry. I just had to paint that picture because Rob Zombie's dialogue stinks. Okay. My number one is obvious. It's 1978 Halloween. And look, we dove really deep into it, so I'm not going to take a lot of time. But I meant to it's on my number two, Halloween 2018. I thought that John Carpenter did a great job with the music in this most recent Halloween. I thought he updated the score to where it's really good. I like the shape stalks Allison. That's a good song. Like, he uses the music. That movie gets the music right really well, in my opinion. Even though I didn't even touch on Dr. Sartain. I guess I won't. I'll wait till we review that movie in a couple months. But Halloween, the original, is my number one. It's a classic. I didn't see it, obviously, until later on in my life, but I freaking love it. I went into it after I went and saw the remake. That's the first movie I went home and watched, and well, outside of Scream. But I went home and started the Halloween series with that film, and I've loved it so much ever since. And look, some of it doesn't age well. We talked about it last week, but I love the music, the mood, the atmosphere, the lighting. That's good stuff, man. And again, it's not brutal. It doesn't have the blood and guts. Some of that I like because it leaves, imagine, a theater of the mind. You get a lot of theater of the mind in that movie on a shoestring budget. I thought they did a great job with it. So just for pure, it's not sacrilege to put it number two. I mean, I think that's pretty high up in a ranking, but it's definitely my number one.
Yeah, and for me, number one is the 2018 remake, just because it's really entertaining to me. The day it came out, I actually woke up about 30 minutes earlier to go to work so I could go to Walmart and buy the Blu-ray before I went. When I first watched it, I was like, I didn't know how I felt about it, but I listened to a review podcast, another one, and I listened to them break it down. I was like, let me go rewatch this one more time. I paid attention to it, better than you can in a movie theater. And I really think it's a really enjoyable, entertaining movie. Like, I think Mike said it best. It's a perfect combination of 78 Michael and Rob Zombie Michael. He's not overly aggressive, but he's also not strangling two people. He's there's some stuff that makes him a little scarier in this movie. I personally, I didn't mind Judy Greer as Karen. I thought she played a pretty good sheltered daughter. She played and she raised her daughter, to not be sheltered, to be the free spirit, loving, and I thought
she did great. Just name her Jamie.
I thought the three generations of ladies were very good in the movie. there's some stuff I can nitpick, and I'm sure we will in the full review.
Right.
I will agree with Mike. I did not like. I loved. I can't remember what the kid's name is, but he was hilarious.
Yes.
When him and the babysitter were downstairs.
Right.
But I do not want to laugh whenever Michael was killing somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I really didn't care for the beginning either, where they're at the psych ward with Michael, just holding his mask up to him. It's like, is this really how we're going to start off? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did like the podcasters, though. I just didn't really. I don't know how podcasters would get, evidence like that. But
Well, they all. It's revealed. I guess we could talk about it like for a little bit, but we're gonna break down this movie eventually. It's revealed it's all Dr. Sartain, which.
That's another thing that's very controversial in this movie is the doctor twist. And as time has gone on, I'm less against it.
Right.
Because this sequel or whatever, you got, if you just have Michael break out, you're doing the same thing Rob Zombie's movie did,
right.
So I didn't like the doctor twist at first, but it's kind of just, I'm indifferent on it now. But yeah, that's my number one, and I really like the ending scene in the house, and I really like the scene where we first see Michael on Halloween night, where it's all one cut. He goes, gets the hammer, kills the lady, gets the knife. You think he's going to kill the baby. He doesn't kill the baby. Walks around the neighborhood, then he kills the lady in the house. I thought that one scene was very, very good, and there was no cuts. It was awesome. But yeah, that was my number one in the Halloween franchise, the 2018 remake.
Man, the best scene to me, my favorite scene now in the entire franchise is in that movie. And it was in the trailer. But when I saw him throw those teeth over the...
that's so awesome.
And that stall and that
scene
reporter,
is very good.
I was like, oh, shit. Like,
dude,
this movie has got it.
What is it with this franchise and bathroom scenes? There's like 5 of them. 5 bathroom kills at least in this whole freaking franchise. Although I still love it's Joe Grizzly, bitch. Anyway.
Yep. Something about it. Don't go to a gas station if you don't want to beat Michael Myers.
Don't wear a mechanic suit anywhere.
Yes, do not wear a mechanic suit.
Right.
So, yeah, everybody, that's our rankings. If you have a ranking, tweet it to us. We'd like to see it.
Right, man.
If you have any problems with them, if you agree with them, interact with us. We'd love to hear it. I just want to thank my 2 homies, Bryan and Mike, for doing this with me. Shout out to Drew. He's busy at work right now. But y'all got any final thoughts before we say Happy Halloween and head out?
Hey, really quick. First of all, I want to thank everyone for listening. We hope I know we had some audio stuff last time. Don't worry, we're going to get it fixed. It's okay. I think we all sound great tonight, so I can't wait for everyone to hear. Anyways, I'm stumbling over my words. Thank you for listening. Also, you, Nicoh, like Halloween Resurrection for being different. I want you to remember that when we discuss Friday the 13th, okay? Okay, cool. That's all I got to say. And by the way, my name is also Mike, so shout out to Michael Myers, the GOAT, baby.
Brian, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Just happy Halloween, guys. Thanks for listening.
Hold on. Happy Halloween, Michael. Boom. Nailed it.
Yeah, I had a final thought, but I lost it with that one. Happy Halloween, everybody. Appreciate y'all listening. Oh, yeah, I remember now. I apologize. It was my fault with the audio. I apologize. I felt god-awful about it. Sick to my stomach about it.
Hey, you know what's cool, Nicoh? By the time they hear this, we've already have it fixed because Scream will be out by then.
Yeah,
so
that's
true.
Podcasts after that, so we're good.
Oh, yeah.
We're good.
Anyway, happy Halloween, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in.